My Navy SEAL uncle refused to go near the ocean after retirement. He finally told me why. My uncle Marcus served 15 years as a Navy SEAL before retiring at 38 and moving to Denver, which is about as far from the ocean as you can get in America. He bought a house in the suburbs, got a job doing security consulting, and lived a quiet life that seemed completely normal, except for one thing. He refused to go anywhere near large bodies of water. Not just the ocean. Lakes, rivers, even swimming pools made him visibly uncomfortable. My dad invited him to our lake house once, and Marcus had a full panic attack in the driveway before we even got inside. He sat in his truck with his hands shaking, saying he couldn't do it, that he needed to leave immediately. My family thought he had PTSD from his service, which made sense given what SEALs go through. They stopped inviting him to anything involving water and pretended not to notice how he'd take the long route to avoid driving over bridges, or how he kept his shower time under 3 minutes. For 12 years, that's how things stayed. Marcus living alone in Denver, working his security job, and avoiding water like it would kill him. I visited him occasionally since I went to college in Boulder. The visits were always a bit tense. Marcus was friendly but distracted, like he was constantly listening for something. His house had no decorations, no personal items, just functional furniture and a go bag by the front door that he refused to explain. He also had this weird habit of checking every faucet in the house multiple times a day, making sure they were completely off. The call came 3 weeks ago. Marcus's voice on the phone sounded wrong, hollow and tired in a way I'd never heard before. He said he needed to see me, that there was something important he had to explain before it was too late. I drove down that same day and found him sitting on his porch looking 10 years older than the last time I'd seen him. He'd lost weight, his hands were shaking, and he had dark circles under his eyes like he hadn't slept in weeks. "We need to talk about why I left the SEALs," he said without any greeting or small talk, about what happened during my last deployment in 2009. We went inside, and Marcus pulled out a bottle of whiskey, poured himself a large glass, and drained half of it before starting to talk. His team had been deployed to the Persian Gulf for a routine training exercise with Allied forces. Standard stuff they'd done hundreds of times. Diving operations, underwater demolition practice, navigation drills in deep water. On the 4th day, they were doing a night dive, 6 team members going down to 200 feet to practice equipment recovery. Marcus was the team leader, responsible for making sure everyone stayed together and followed protocol. The dive started normally. Clear water, good visibility with their lights, calm conditions on the surface. They reached the target depth and began the exercise, locating and securing training equipment that had been placed on the seafloor. That's when Marcus noticed something wrong with the water itself. The temperature dropped suddenly, going from 72 degrees to what felt like near freezing in seconds. His dive computer confirmed it, showing impossible readings that shouldn't have been possible in those waters. Then the current changed, not gradually like a natural shift, but instantly, pulling them all in the same direction with force that shouldn't exist at that depth. Marcus signaled his team to abort the exercise and start ascending, but 2 of his men were already being dragged away into the darkness, their lights disappearing faster than they could swim. And he went after them, fighting against the current, and that's when he saw what was pulling them. Marcus stopped talking and finished his whiskey, his hands shaking so badly he could barely hold the glass. "What did you see?" I asked. He looked at me with eyes that held 12 years of nightmares. "Something that shouldn't exist, something that lives in the deep water and sometimes comes up to feed. My team called it in as a rip current incident. 2 men lost, presumed drowned, bodies never recovered. But I know what really happened to them, and I know it's still down there, waiting." That's when things took a turn I never expected. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.